As a maternity care provider, you hold and care for others every day. Who holds you? Welcome to The Resilient Birth Worker. I'm Sarah, naturopathic doctor and lactation consultant. This is the space for midwives, doulas, nurses, and other maternity care providers feeling stuck between offering the care mothers truly need, the demands of our culture, and the restrictions that serve the system instead of the humans within it. Together, we're on a journey to more rest, resilience, and healing. When you feel more resourced, so too are the families you hold. When your energy is restored, so too is the life you desire. Let's root in. Welcome back. Let's begin today's episode with an invitation to check in with your body. Notice where you're holding tension. Not where you think you're holding it, where you actually feel it. Right now, in this moment. Is it your jaw, your shoulders, the space between your shoulder blades that hasn't fully released in you're not even sure how long? I started calling that area my student back. And for me, it's still an area susceptible to tension, even though I haven't been a student for 25 years. Maybe you're noticing tension in your lower back or your gut, or that persistent tightness across the front of your chest that you've started to think of as just normal. For me, today, that area between my shoulder blades feels okay, but I'm noticing my shoulders are up too close to my ears. There's an ache in my hip flexors and noticeable stiffness in my low back. Most of us, if we're honest, have stopped noticing at some point, sometimes for long periods of time. We've gotten so used to living in a body that is braced that we've forgotten what it feels like to live in one that isn't. Over the last 6 episodes, we've done a lot of important work together. We've named the unseen armor. We've understood the system that forged it. We've learned the language of the nervous system. We've practiced tools for in-the-moment regulation, things like the physiological sigh, the grounding anchor, and intuitive listening. And those tools matter. They are real, and they work. But today, I want to go a layer deeper, because I think you know, somewhere in your body, you already know, that what you're carrying isn't just the stress of today's shift, or this week's difficult client, or last night's disrupted sleep. It's older than that. It's heavier than that. There's a concept in physiology called allostatic load. In simple terms, it's the cumulative wear and tear on the body from chronic stress. Not one bad day, not one hard birth, not one difficult email from a client at 11 p.m., but the total accumulated cost of all of it, over months, over years. And here's what's important to understand. Your body doesn't automatically reset to 0 at the end of each shift. It doesn't clear the slate when you go on vacation. It doesn't erase the record when you sleep. Your body keeps a running total. Every birth you attended where something went wrong and no one debriefed with you. Every time you swallowed the words you needed to say to a colleague or a supervisor. Every time you sat with a mother who's struggling to breastfeed because of birth trauma. Every time you went home carrying a mother's grief in your chest and there was no one to tell. Every time your jaw clenched in a meeting where policy was prioritized over the humanity of the mother. Your body recorded all of it. Not as a memory you can recall and narrate, not as a story you can tell, but as tension, restriction, exhaustion. as a nervous system that stays braced even when there's no immediate threat, as a gut that won't settle, as shoulders that won't drop, as deep, bone-level tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. This isn't a flaw. This is how the body works. Your body protects you by storing what you can't process in the moment. It tucks the unfinished experience into your tissues, your fascia, your muscles, your belly, your jaw, so you can just keep going. So you can walk into room 2 after the challenges unfold in room 1. So you can drive to the next home visit. So you can smile at your child when you get home, even though you're hollow inside. It's a brilliant strategy. Your body has been doing this for you faithfully, without complaint, or maybe with a few complaints, for years. But over time, that storage becomes its own burden. Let me describe what this often looks like in a maternity care provider's body. For this next bit, I invite you to listen with your body, not just your mind. Notice if anything I say creates a flicker of recognition. The jaw. TMJ, grinding at night, clenching during the day that you don't notice until your teeth ache. This is often where the words you didn't say get stored. Every time you bit your tongue in a meeting, every time you held back an opinion to keep the peace. The jaw holds the unspoken. The shoulders and neck, that chronic tension across the top of the shoulders, up into the base of the skull. Persistent headaches, the feeling of carrying a weight even when your hands are empty. This is the load, the invisible, energetic weight of holding space for others without being held yourself. The shoulders are where responsibility lives in the body. The chest and throat, tightness, shallow breathing, the feeling that you can't quite get a full breath, even though nothing is physically wrong. This often relates to grief and emotional suppression, the things you felt deeply but couldn't express. The chest holds what the heart absorbs, but the mouth cannot release. The belly and gut, digestive issues, IBS, bloating that comes and goes and doesn't seem to correlate with what you eat. Remember what we talked about in episode 3 when the nervous system is in survival mode? Blood is shunted away from digestion. If you've been spending months or years in that red zone of activation, your gut has been operating in crisis mode right alongside you. The lower back and pelvis, chronic lower back pain, pelvic floor tension. This area is connected to our sense of stability, safety, and support, or the absence of it. When we feel unsupported in our work, in the system, in our lives, the body often braces here at the foundation. Now, I'm not saying that every headache or back pain is unresolved emotion. Bodies are more complex and more nuanced than that. There are often multiple contributing factors. But what I am saying is this: the body is not separate from your work. The physical symptoms you carry are not unrelated to the emotional load you've been holding. They are part of the same picture. And acknowledging that connection, rather than treating them as separate problems to fix, is the beginning of a different kind of care for yourself. Now, I want to be honest about something, and I want to be careful here because this is not about making the tools we've been learning already feel inadequate. The physiological sigh is powerful. The grounding anchor is real. The screen door works. These are practices I use in my own life regularly. but they are designed for acute moments, for in-the-moment regulation of a nervous system that has been activated by the day's events. What they're not designed to do on their own is release years of stored tension from the body. And this is important to name because I've seen the discouragement that happens when someone practices the tools faithfully and still feels heavy, still wakes up exhausted, still has the jaw pain, the tight shoulders, the persistent gut issues. If that's you, please hear this. You're not doing it wrong. You're just working with a deeper layer, a layer that needs more than a single breath to unwind, a layer that needs time, patience, safety, and a sustained, gentle willingness to turn toward the body instead of overriding it. Think of it this way. Practices like the physiological sigh are like rain falling on dry earth. They offer immediate relief. The soil surface darkens. The dust settles. But if the soil beneath has been compacted by years of drought, that rain can't penetrate fully. The deeper somatic work is like tending the soil itself, aerating it, composting, letting the roots of old growth break it open slowly so it can actually receive nourishment again. This episode isn't about restoring the whole garden today. It's about acknowledging that the soil has a history, that tending to that history slowly, gently, season by season, is part of what it means to become truly resilient. Before we move into today's practice, I want to name one more thing. When we're in pain, when the body is tense, exhausted, not working the way we want it to, it's easy to develop an adversarial relationship with it. Why won't my back stop hurting? Why can't I sleep? Why is my gut always a mess? We treat the body like a machine that's malfunctioning, something to be fixed, managed, overridden. But what if your body isn't malfunctioning? What if it's communicating? What if the tension in your jaw is your body saying, there are things that need to be spoken? What if the tightness in your chest is your body saying, there's grief here that needs to be felt? What if the exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix is your body saying, I've been holding this for a long time and I need you to notice? Your body isn't the problem. Your body is the most faithful ally you have. It has been doing its job, storing what you couldn't process, bracing when you needed protection, keeping you upright when everything in you wanted to collapse. And it has been waiting for you to turn toward it and say, I see what you've been carrying. I'm here now. We can start to set some of this down. And that's what today's practice is. It's not a practice about fixing anything. It's about listening. If you can, find a comfortable position. Seated is beautiful. Lying down is fine too, if that feels more comfortable for your body right now. Close your eyes or soften your gaze toward the floor. Take 3 slow breaths. Let each exhale be a little longer than the inhale. And on each exhale, invite your body to settle into the support of whatever is holding it. The chair, the floor, the earth beneath the floor. Now, we're going to move slowly through a few areas of the body. Not to fix anything, not to release anything, just to notice and to offer a quiet acknowledgement. Begin with your jaw. Without trying to change anything, Just notice what lives there. Is it tight, clenched, held? You don't need to know why. You don't need to trace it back to a specific moment. Just notice. And in your mind, or in a whisper, say, I feel you. I'm here. Move to your throat. Notice the front of the throat, the sides. Is there tightness? A lump? A sense of constriction? Again, just notice. No judgment, no story. Feel you. I'm here. Next, move your attention to your shoulders. The weight that lives across the top of them. The knots along your shoulder blades. What lives here? What has been carried? Breathe into that space. I feel you. I'm here. Now your chest. The center of the chest, the space around the heart. Is it tight, guarded, open, heavy? Let your breath soften into the area like warm water running over a stone. I feel you. I'm here. Move down to your belly. Place a hand there if it feels comfortable. The belly holds so much for so many of us. Stress, intuition, fear, knowing. Notice what's present. Maybe it's tightness. Maybe it's churning. Maybe it's numb. All of it is information. I feel you. I'm here. And finally, your lower back and pelvis, the foundation, the base. Notice what lives there. Heaviness, tension, or perhaps nothing at all. Numbness can be information too. I feel you. I'm here. Now, take a full breath, a deep, slow inhale, and a long exhale. As you exhale, offer your body one more thing. Not a promise to fix everything, not a plan, just a quiet acknowledgement. Thank you. Thank you for carrying all of this. I'm learning to listen. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. That practice, the body conversation, is not meant to be a one-time experience. It's designed to be returned to over days, weeks, months. Each time you do it, you are sending a message to your nervous system. It is safe to be felt. It is safe to be noticed. And over time, that message begins to change the relationship. The body starts to trust that you're not just going to override it anymore. And when it trusts that, it begins to soften. Not all at once, not on your timeline, on its timeline, which is slower than we'd like and wiser than we usually give it credit for. As you move through your week, I have one final gentle invitation for you. At some point, maybe in the car between clients, maybe before bed, maybe during a quiet moment in your day, place your hand somewhere on your body that has been holding tension and just say silently, I feel you. I'm here. That's it. You don't have to fix the tension. You don't have to understand it. You just have to acknowledge it, because your body has been waiting for that acknowledgement for a long time. In our next episode, we're going to go to the deepest place we've been yet this season. We're going to name the wound that lives at the center of so much of this pain, the wound of moral injury. It's a conversation that matters, and your body will be ready for it, because today you started listening to it. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. I'm so grateful you took the time to nourish yourself today. If this episode helped you feel a little less alone and a little more steady, I invite you to follow or subscribe and continue nurturing rest, resilience, and healing. And if you know someone who would benefit from the ecosystem of support we're cultivating here, please share the podcast with them. Until next time, be gentle with yourself.